June the 13th, Holland. BR Booth and G Winch on board. We woke up to hear Dutch cuckoo and the sound of a man whetting his scythe, ready to cut the field to which we were moored. We cast off and presently took a wrong turning, running Concord hard aground. We moved the ballast around, but to no avail. Thankfully a boat came by and offered us a tow, but to no avail. We moved half the ballast ashore, but Concord stayed immovable. We moved all the ballast ashore, and on our fourth try, Concord didn't move an inch. The things were serious, as there was no rise and fall, and we were unable to further lighten the ship. But then a huge barge came by, and I gave him my best warp, and he tried to tow us off. The warp creaked as she applied full power, but Concord still refused to move. And then the barge slewed to port. Concord was pulled bodily over onto her side, and she shot into deep water. The master only asked us for a florin, but when we gave him 2, his wife and children fairly danced with delight. June the 14th, midnight. Concord is moored in a basin between 2 boat sheds. They must be working late, as the lights are still on, casting mysterious shadows out across the water. I take a turn on deck, and then go ashore and wander up the cobbled quayside. Turning back, I can see Concord beautifully floodlit beneath me. She is poised on her own reflection. She looks a picture. June the 15th. Barometer 29.95. Wind southeast moderate. BR Booth and G Winch on board. Then on through the night, with the engine ticking over slowly. We crept past houses dark under the trees, with perhaps a little candle shining out through the branches. At the bridges we startled the night with vociferous blasts on the foghorn, and a figure in clogs would appear, rubbing his eyes and stuffing his shirt into his voluminous trousers. The bridge would slowly swing, and as we glided through, a fishing rod with a salvo would be dangled across the deck to receive the usual "Thank you, good night, good night, thank you," and so on again. Sometimes on a bend we would come upon an outside lamp lighting the facade of a house like a scene on a stage. The little breeze blew true across the fields, rustling the trees, and behind us the wash of the vessel lapped the rushes lining the banks. Overhead, searchlights in the sky made patterns, and the great lights at Skevringen, Nordvik and Invida described arcs as they guided mariners in the North Sea. covered 20 miles that night. And it was a night to remember. The soft, warm air brought the smell of new-mown hay. It was like travelling through a fairyland.